Hi, it's Amelie. Today we're going to work on Poem by Griffes for this just practicing. This is a live stream, so if you have any question or comment, just leave them right now and I'll answer them right away. So let's start with Griffes. This American composer is an impressionist composer. And that piece is one of the most liked, I think, of the flute repertoire. It's very beautiful, very pretty. So I'm gonna start. I played that with orchestra a long time ago, maybe 15 years ago. But I didn't play it since then. So I'm gonna see in my music what I wrote. So at the beginning, I wrote 63. It's andantino, and I wrote 63 was the tempo I chose. What am I doing there? I don't know. I don't know why. I had this idea of putting a sharp. I'll write natural so I don't do it again. When you make a mistake, just don't think, oh, I won't do it again. Just write it down. This way you're sure you won't do it again. Okay, so the beginning is piano, but it has to be, how would I say that? Discreet, but not like, it's a concerto. You don't want to come in too soft, so it doesn't sound shy, because you have to take your place as a soloist. And like when you come in, anyways, the orchestra is not doing much, just holding a chord. Yeah, the orchestra plays the theme first, and then you do it at A, and they hold a chord. So you're pretty free there. So if you want to take a little bit more time to breathe or something like that, you can breathe in the second bar. If you don't have to, I think it sounds better to go and do. Because I think you get that interval, that little semitone. It's interesting for the tension, and if you breathe, you kind of miss the interval. But if you have to, it's better to breathe than to not be able to finish the phrase. Yeah. So that piano, I try to do it a little bit edgy, not too, not like transparent color, more like a darker color. That's instead of, because it's the beginning, and also it's just the way I see it. And yeah, I think it's a bit more present that way. So it's piano, but with a little edgy color to it. Yeah, and write your places to breathe right away and practice them. And what I did is that I wrote some in parentheses as well, so I would see if I need them or not. And those are just little help, just in case. Well, insurance breaths. So is that okay for the first part? I continue? Okay. At B, poco più mosso, so a little bit faster. And I wrote 69 to 72. Oh yeah, and also we have to be careful not to slow down in that, because it's a very beautiful melody, so we can have a tendency to just listen to ourselves so much that we drag. And orchestras are very heavy, so if you're playing that with an orchestra and you're slowing down, and they'll slow you down anyway, so you have to kind of be the person pulling everyone, I think. So I'm gonna do that again, but with a metronome, just to make sure I'm not slowing down myself. If I'm oh my god, I do that again. Faster. Okay. That's interesting. So you have to use a lot of colors. I even think like second line when you go on G sharp, you can change color there. I didn't do it really well. I think maybe if I did more darker color in the beginning there, maybe I should change for something a little bit more transparent. And then when I get to that high D at the last bar of that second line, really give it, like it's the highest note of that long phrase, so you should really give it some weight. Yeah, so that's good. And then the second phrase, it's faster, it's louder, but you still have that piano at bar 25, and then here. And there's no decrescendo, so we should stay loud. And then super piano, like pianissimo. So tranquillamente, you go back down to 66, I would say. And a good way to attack that note would be to say pe, or not to articulate it at all even. And sometimes if you want a little bit clearer note, you can add your pinky here on the A. It makes it, like, listen. It raises it a little bit, and I think it sounds a bit more clear. No, not there, because with the F sharp, no, I won't put it. But you can, for the articulation though, or, so either the pe or with no tongue. Okay, so that first C sharp is forte, but then you have to go back down to piano right away. Yeah, okay. I haven't played that in a long time. So that's nice. I think practicing that with a tuner is a good idea because all those dynamics and notes coming back and all that, I think it's a good thing just to make sure that things are in tune, and listen to make sure when you repeat a note that it's the same height. But when you'll play with the accompaniment, maybe you'll have to adjust as well. I think that's good. So really, color changes and changes in dynamics, they're important, but not just dynamics, you know, because you can go piano like this and piano like this. It's not the same color. I don't know if you pick it up with a microphone. Do people hear the difference? You can be a bit more nasal, or you can be more or nyeh, or and then you can do the same when you play loud. A bit more breathy, a bit, you know. So that makes it even more interesting. So then we're at più mosso at D. I think 80 is a good tempo there. Okay, but I don't think I can play it at that speed right now. I'll just play it once. Okay. Also, I've heard flute. I've heard versions where people change the rhythm a lot, and I don't know. I think that sometimes when we play that type of music, impressionist, we tend to want it to sound improvised, so we change the tempo, but it's written already like that. I don't think you have to change. Like, I think you still can keep a steady beat or do a little bit of rubato, but not something that's completely out of what's been written, because it's already like a written improvisation. I don't know if I'm being clear, but when we do it too much, I think personally, I think it becomes a bit tacky. And yeah, I prefer if we respect how it's written, because it's beautiful the way it's written, I think. Okay. Okay, I'll try just... Here I should change the color the second time. Okay, it's the same dynamic, but I should change the color anyways. And there's an accelerando. Okay. So I'll go from there, but I was happy with the D. Now I'm going to be at E. So yeah, there's a sense of urgency, you know. It's completely different from the beginning. That was, you know, a little walk, and then something happens, some danger, and I don't know, aliens arrived, and you're running. I don't know, whatever you want to imagine. Yeah. I'll go at E. I'll just play it once, just read it through. sure to know where the beats are. You know, beats in 9/8 like that. If you're not used to them, try to subdivide them and see where your 3 beats are, and make sure it's clear in your body, that subdivision in 3, that you really feel it. I'm gonna try it not too fast once. Okay, now I'll play it. I'll try at 100. Like, if you learn it for the first time, and I would advise you to do that more progressively. But just for the sake of the live stream today, I won't take too much of your time. Okay, I'll just write this because it's confusing for me. I was forgetting that. C natural. No. Wait. Okay, I'll do that again. Okay. I think it's very cool that it's getting faster because it gives this sense of urgency. And if you push yourself, and I like using the metronome because I like to be comfortable, but the metronome pushes me and forces me to go a bit faster. So when you're practicing and you want to get faster, sometimes you have to push yourself. It's good to practice slowly because this way you make sure you learn the right things. And but at one point you still have to push yourself. You have to balance between practicing slowly for control and pushing yourself to get faster. And yeah, it's 2 different ways that are both good. I'll do that again and then I'll continue. I'm not happy. I'll do it again. Okay. And there's no C. Oh yeah, that's a C sharp directly there. I'm adding a note. No. C sharp there. It's far in my memory. That last A there, because you want to do it very piano, you can, if you put your pinky, it's going to help with the intonation so it doesn't sound flat. Okay, that was okay for now, you know. I'm going to continue on F. And then tranquilo. So you go back to, let's say 72. You go back slower. It changes completely there. What does the score says at F? Yeah, just pianissimo for the orchestra with just holding a chord. And before that, there was like forte, and yeah, the orchestra is going like this, stuff like that. Okay, at E they do that, and then at F they just go like in the beginning and hold a long chord. Really, when you're learning a piece, listen to it with the score, and also sometimes listen to it with your flute part, and sometimes take your piano score and just follow the piano score and focus on that part. And then sometimes you can listen to everything at once, but you know, we tend to really listen to our part, and it was composed as a whole, so it's a good thing to learn it as a whole as well. Okay. Okay, I'll do this at that speed. Here too, you could do a p or not even tongue. Again, I don't think I'll breathe there because I don't need it, and I think it kind of cuts the phrase. Or you could take a expressive breath there, go ah, da. That could be interesting, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think that could be a sound exercise in itself, because there's flexibility, there's going from forte to piano, there's legato. I'm going to practice it a bit like that. I'm not going to focus that much on the rhythm, but more on the legato aspect. Okay, now I'm gonna play it with. So when I'm practicing like that, I'm trying to be aware of what to do to get the sound that I want, and I'm just focusing on that. But I'm trying to really feel it so I can go back to the same sensation later. So now I'm gonna practice it with the play it with the rhythm and everything, but I'm gonna try to go back to that same sensation that I had when I was happy with the result. Yeah, I think that was better. Okay, no question?
Oh, no, no,
Okay. Now a
questions for the end of the show.
okay. Now a pianissimo in the low register, but you still have to be heard everywhere in the hall where you're playing. So yeah. So you have to think pianissimo, but you have to think pianissimo that travels. So be careful not to try to get that little sound that has no sh in it, because the little sh it's not. It depends what type of sh you have, but a little bit of it's what makes the sound travel sometimes.
The momentum,
Yeah, and if you try to have a very, very pure sound, very often what happens with that type of sound is that it's heard. It's very nice for your ear because your ear is close to your mouthpiece, so or to your embouchure. But for people that are far away, it's not the same result at all. If you have a very good flutist around you and you can ask them to play, someone who has a sound that projects a lot, maybe come very close to them and listen to the sound like as if it was you playing, and then go in another room with the door open and listen to the sound, and you'll hear, and make tests like that, because you'll discover things. If you're in high school and there's a lot of flutists, you can do little games like that, and you might have a different perception of what a good sound is after that. Okay, so maybe I won't do any vibrato because it will give more impression of pianissimo. I'll try that. I wrote 80 there. Okay, that moves more. I think it's better. Oh, I think maybe I'll vibrate a little bit on the beginning, but I'll stop vibrating. Like let's say on that F double sharp, I'll vibrate, but when I get on the slurred quarter note, I'll stop, and then it might give an impression of a longer note. That can be interesting. Not piano enough. Okay, if I vibrate, it's going to be very, very tiny instead. I won't focus too much on that. What is the score saying there? G. Okay, so the rhythm is, it's just okay, a tremolo. Yeah, pianissimo. was making mistakes there. Okay. Wait. Okay, so here, it's better to do, okay, if it's too difficult for you to go, with the real fingering, you can do a B flat and a C and use the harmonic like this. It's a little bit different, but not that much, and I think it's better to do that and make it sound good than to do the other one and have mishaps. And the important thing is the result, and making it as beautiful as you can with the skills that you have right now. You see, things change. Like just here, I played that 15 years ago, and I wrote a lot of breathing marks that now I realize I wouldn't need anymore. It's a process, I tell my students that all the time. Learning is not like a switch on and off. It's not you have it, you don't have it. Learning is a process. It's like climbing a mountain. And sometimes maybe you go down a little bit and you go back up, but it's a process. So I think when we see it that way, it's more positive, it's more agreeable, and instead of seeing that changing a fingering as a failure, or it's not. It's all about the result you get, and if you make it beautiful. And us flutists might hear that, we're using a harmonic because we're really used to the sound of a flute, but most people won't. But if you try to do the real fingering because you want to prove that you can, and you don't really make it sound good, then what's the point, Because people don't care about that. They don't look at your fingers. They don't know the flute fingerings anyways. Okay. Where should I start? Maybe I'll do that whole section again. I'll try. I'm not sure about the fast part, if I can do it that fast, but I'll check. I'll do just that part once. I'll try. Okay. I think even I would do because if you do it fast, it sounds better. Like a stop, and at 112 I was restarting with the orchestra because I think it was sounding better to do that. Wait, let's see, because I don't remember. Where's 112? 112 is just before H. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, it's all alone, this whole section. You do what you want. The orchestra just starts back at H. You're alone from 96. My God. Yeah. Oh, I wrote it there alone. I said I wrote it. So you do what you want in that whole thing. It's a cadence basically. Cadenza?
Oh, yeah,
Cadenza, yeah. Sorry. So maybe it would be nice to accelerate gradually then. Oh yeah, I think that's what I was doing. Yeah, okay, now I remember. I think I stopped way too long there, but okay. Yeah. So is it okay for that section? Yeah. So at 96, just remember you have this whole so there, just make sure you do a good upbeat so it comes back together at H. Yeah.
Somebody said, why do you always have to keep the pinky on the right hand down for a lot of notes? And why can't you let go of it?
I think it's mostly question of balance.
Yeah, that's the balance.
Yeah. But sometimes it changes the intonation a little bit too.
Yeah, and also changes the harmonic series of that note. And like longer, like in the chain of it. So say you do a harmonic, it might not even show up.
Okay, so if you want to, so the sound will be richer because you have more harmonics in it.
That too, but you don't.
And also, if you want to do the harmonic, well, we don't hear it and we hear it.
Yeah,
You know,
we
we
don't
don't.
hear it.
Sometimes we don't know why the sound is better, but it's better. But maybe we don't have the. We don't know it like consciously,
Right.
but you know that we know there's something. Okay, so yeah, give a good upbeat when you start at H, and then at H it's really more. Oh yeah, and just before that, just to say that whole part, I would have to practice it again, but make sure you have a good understanding of what it is, you know, and then try to get to that conception that you have in your head. So at G, pianissimo, very very like transparent type of sound, and then you get a bit louder, a bit more deep, and then you go very fast, you get that cadence, and you go a bit crazy, then you go back down, and then at H you get that folkloric type of little tune, you know. And there I wrote 132 to 144, so it's pretty fast. I don't know if I can play it at that speed right now. I'll try. I'll just read it once slowly. Okay, that's good. At 147, you're alone again until 150, I think. I'll just check. 147. Just before J, sorry. Where's J? Okay, here. Yeah, and then at J you're together with the orchestra again. So yeah, it's important to know that, because you can do a ritardando at 148. You go 47. And you pick up the tempo at J again. Okay. I'll try that a bit slowly first. Like this. Oh yeah, and I wanted to say, I don't take the thumb fingering for the A sharps because there's a lot of B naturals, and then personally I don't like switching. So I think I'm gonna take the long B flat or A sharp fingering. Oh my god. Yeah, it does. It's just I'm practicing it right now with the metronome. I'm gonna try it at a bit slower than the real tempo, because it's not realistic just in one sitting to get to the... Oh my god. That I'll do by myself. Okay, so it's just a question of playing it again and again. Don't practice fast too early, because there's a lot of accidentals, and we can learn bad notes sometimes when we try to be too fast in learning And also, if you're learning it, don't try to learn the 6 pages at once. You know, just a little bit every day, and it's more efficient to do, let's say, the first page and stop, and then another page another day and stop, than to try to do the whole thing. It's better to just take one little part and repeat it until it becomes a bit more easy for you, I think, than trying to get through the whole thing, and then at the end you're just very exhausted and you didn't really learn it because you didn't repeat. And repetition is the best way, I think, to really learn something and master it. So it's better to take a smaller chunk and repeat it a lot, and then leave it there, go to the next part. Okay. Don't always start from the beginning either. Like a 6-page thing like that, if you always start from the beginning, you're focused in the beginning and you have energy, and then by the end you have less energy. So you don't want your end of a piece to be weak. So sometimes start from the middle or the end when you practice. You can also write in a journal where you left off. Because usually when I finish practicing, it's very clear in my head what I should be doing next. If I don't write it down, I might forget it. But when I write it down, the next practice is way more efficient, because I get to my notes. I'm like, oh, I was going to practice this way. And then I'm not losing time wondering, where was I? What should I be doing? It's all there, and it's way more efficient like that. Okay, I'll go from K. So that's like poco meno mosso. So we went from 132 to 120, but I might not play it at 120 right now. Maybe a bit slower. That, I think, is it's piano, but it's full of light, that thing. Personally, that's how I see it. Okay. Okay, I'll do it again, but I think it's pretty clear what to do there. It's very interesting, I think, at 181. You have all that A sharp everywhere. That makes it very full of light. And then you have the A natural that changes the whole color, the whole intention of the music there. And then you go back to the A sharp, just the next beat. Like, I think that little A natural should really be played with an intention. Okay, at K again. Maybe I put too much intention on that A natural this time, but, you know, it's all a work in progress. You practice it, you try something, you're like, yeah, I thought that was a good idea. It's not that much, you know. I like that way, because I start a bit more, with more timbre, and then I make it more transparent at the end. Yeah. In that whole section, if you have an A sharp versus an A natural, it's different. So I think you should just pay attention to that. Next page. Okay. What's going on at L again with the piano part? Con fuoco. So it's fiery. Okay. Bum, bum,
Are there
bum,
a lot
bum,
of time
bum,
changes
bum,
in that piece?
bum,
Yeah.
bum, bum. Well, it's, I don't know. No.
I know it's 6, 8, 9, 8, 6, 8, 9, 9, 8,
9, 8. 6, 8, but like 6, 8, 9, 8, it's not a big difference. At confoco, it becomes like a 3, 4 and a 6, 8. Like, bien, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, ta, 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 ta. Because even the orchestra goes pum, 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 pum. It goes pum, 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 pum. I just, personally, I would feel it like that. Because, you have it like this. Wait. Like, okay, let's say I put it at 132. I could go, okay, I'll put it a bit slower so you hear the rhythm. Ta 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 ga 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 ga. Ta 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 ga 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 ga. Maybe it's easier like that. Ta 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 ta. You just do it 3 against 2. Ta 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 ga 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 ga. Ta 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 ga 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 ga. Ta 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 ga 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 ga. Yeah. I'll try that a little bit slower than that. First, you should start doing it, subdividing every 8 note like this. Like you practice it like that. Okay, I'll try it faster now. Okay, I'll try at 132 just to see. Oh, wait. Okay, that's why it's called just practicing, but I think you get the point of the whole thing. Now, next part, vivace, I wrote 160. So, and notice that it's double dotted at just after M, 3 bars after M. So it's a da di da, it's da 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 da. Like really at the very end, you do your F sharp. I'll try it without.
Scotch snap like.
No, I think that's
Like
ta-da.
Ta-da, yeah. But
Yeah, Scotch snap is ta-da, and that
ta-da.
is ta-da-da,
Yeah,
da-da.
that's it. That's right.
Yeah, it's different. It's the,
Yeah, it is different. The inversion.
it's, yeah.
The
It's an,
inversion,
yeah.
That's so funny.
In fact, it's easier to do that than the, it's
Yeah.
easier to do ta-da-da than to do ta-da, ta-da.
Yeah.
Because you have to do it on the beat, and we always tend to do it before the beat.
Right.
But that's okay. Maybe we don't need to talk about that. Mix up people.
Oh, it's all good. Oh, we know.
Okay, so here you have a change, but you just think it's at 160 and it stays like that. So if you have 2 beats per measure when you're in 2/4, and you still have 2 beats per measure when you're in 6/8, it's just you subdivide your beat in 2 or in 3. So ta 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 da 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 da, and in 6/8 da 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 da. And that's it. It's not more complicated than that. I'll do it once a bit slower. Yeah, there, be careful to do the right articulations and slurs, because I think it gives it a nice little swing. Okay, I'll do it a bit faster. I'll try. Okay, you see, if I was a conductor, I would conduct at M what's staccato, all the 2/4 like very clear, very nervous. But when I would get in the 6/8, way more legato. It's a complete different character. So you have to switch, a bit like an opera, you know, you go from one character is talking, the next one it's like that could be seen as a conversation, dialogue between two very different people, or maybe like you know, those theater pieces where you have something happening and then the set the set rolls over and then there's another scene that's completely different, and it's sometimes very funny. You go from one thing to the next, and one scene to the next, and you alternate from one scene to the other, like something like that, so you can visualize what's happening in the music. Okay, I'll try it without a metronome. I'll do my best. Okay, I'll see that after. I think that was clear. At presto, I wrote 184. Like, go as fast as you can there. I'll try it. Okay. That was not very clear, but it's a work in progress. So I would practice it in many different ways. I would practice it as an articulation exercise, like all slurred. Then a little air push on each note. Then just the air. And then ka. Then ta. Then I practice kata kata. If I can do it kata kata, then when I do ta kata kata, it's way faster, way easier. Now I'll do it the right way. It's the F. I don't know if you hear it. It's the F that sometimes doesn't come out well, so I'm going to focus more on the F. Okay, there it's way slower. It's like in the beginning. At O. Okay. So you have that like hysteria crisis, whatever, like you're losing it. And then I guess you're so tired that, you know, like when you're a kid and you throw a huge tantrum and after you're just exhausted. Like that's almost like that. You go from and then that's, I see it as a bit like, my God, this took a lot of energy out of me. Yeah. Oh yeah, I made a mistake there. Wait. Oh no, I think maybe I would imagine instead, maybe there's someone threw a tantrum and then there's a compassionate person maybe that comes in and reassures the person. That, because I think there's something compassionate in that line. That's how I see it. So you're alone from that trill on the D sharp until the second bar of O. So even that da, 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 that's just like a anacruise to the E. Yeah. Yeah, and I made a mistake is on that D. The first D, it's a trill with a E natural, and I did a E sharp before, so I'm going to start from there and do the transition. And I would really do it. It's in the air, and then on the E, it's down. And you can give some direction on those E's by changing the color or yeah, that was pretty much the tempo. I think that's nice, like that.
People like your analogies, like aliens running and then kids putting a tantrum.
Yeah, I like doing that because it feeds the music. And yesterday I was telling a student, sometimes even technical problems can be solved with a good inspiration, because sometimes we overthink things and we're really thinking about the technique a lot, when really the technique is probably way more ingrained in ourselves than we might think, and maybe we can just trust ourselves to be able to play. And I think when we use our imagination, it helps us to free ourselves from that control that we were, it frees ourselves from wanting to control things, and it allows us to express ourselves instead of trying to control. I don't know if it's clear, but I think sometimes when we're learning, we think, oh, I have to play perfectly before I can be expressive. And I think that's not the case. And I think expression is a way to help the technique, and technique should help the expression as well. But yeah, if you want to have fun, that's all the creativity of music, finding what this represents for you. And it doesn't matter, the public can imagine other things when they're hearing it. But if you're saying something, they'll hear something, and then they'll reinterpret it their way. But if you're not trying to convey a story, it's not going to be the same piece. Yeah, whatever. I am not sure I'm being clear anymore. I just play. Okay, where was I? I'll do O again because it's beautiful, that part. For me, it's like a nice adult just taking the kid and being like, it's okay, everything's gonna be fine. And when you have that long line, crescendo, just a couple of bars before P, I think that's full of light again. When you get on that high C sharp, like, your future will be beautiful. Don't worry, everything's gonna be beautiful. You tell a story where we'll go and we'll go to the beach and whatever. Here it's piano, and I know we have this tendency because it's going up to do it louder, but I think it's so much more interesting if we don't and we stay piano. And I even wrote piano, piano, piano all along that phrase, just to remind myself, don't succumb to the temptation of going loud. Keep it piano. It gives so much intensity when sometimes you don't do what's expected. You stay piano. Yeah, because saying things softly sometimes can be very intense, sometimes more intense than shouting them. Okay, I'm going to do it P again. Nah, I didn't like that. I did I give a big air push on the D sharp. I'll do that again. I'll do again because I closed my eyes and I'm not sure if I played the right amount of notes. I'll do from 2 lines before the end. piece. It's very nice. Yeah, it's all piano, little chords, moves with the, yeah. So, any question?
Yep. I'm a beginner, and I work on, I work hard to play low notes. How can I get them better?
Okay. We have a video about low notes. You should check it out. But I think sometimes beginners, when they want to play in the low register, they tend to do this, lower their head. And then by doing that, the angle to play the note is not good anymore. The air is not hitting the right spot on the flute. What you should do is get your best note. And then look at yourself in the mirror and go down progressively and make sure you're not moving. Make sure you play every register with the same embouchure as your best note. Is that clear?
Okay, sure.
You get your best note. If it sounds good, that's the right way to play. Don't move. Keep it like that to play low, high, everything. Because usually we move too much. We work too hard to get, like if you look at me, I don't make a big difference between low, middle, and high. So just get your best note and then go back down and keep it stable.
Okay, that's cool. What is your advice for a beginner who hasn't touched the flute in his life or her life?
Maybe find a teacher, a good teacher. We have a couple of videos for beginners. We don't have enough, but we're going to make a new series or a very long video. We'll see how we format that, but yeah, get a fingering chart. We have one.
Yeah, a poster.
We have a big poster in our store, and you have all the fingerings, the scales, major, minor, the arpeggios, the trill fingerings. So you should look into that, learn your fingerings, get music. I don't know if you know how to read music, you know, and be patient with yourself when you're learning.
I can't hit decent notes. Does it help to use a general tuner to see if I hit the notes?
He can't hit
Certain notes. Yeah.
They don't come out?
I guess that's probably what it is. Or he doesn't know if that's the note to play. So I guess learn the fingering first and then know that that's the fingering. If that note that's not coming out, maybe use your head joint to...
Maybe practice long notes. Okay. If you have a poster with the fingerings, maybe do all the semitones. You'll hear it if you're not playing the right note because they all have the same interval. You go... If you stop playing a semitone and it sounds like... You'll hear that you didn't play the right note because it's not a semitone. So that could be something. You know, learning all your fingerings semitone by semitone could be something. And then maybe using a tuner could be a good idea. Maybe if some notes don't come out, I don't know, maybe your flute needs a little visit to the repair shop. I'm not I don't know exactly what's happening, but...
I'm in India. How do you get a teacher here? Look at the schools if there's any universities.
Yeah, I don't know in India how to get teachers. There's lessons online too. Like I give Skype lessons. You can email us at info@theflutechannel.com for flute lessons on Skype or whatever other way to do it remotely. And maybe there's schools around you, like maybe just by Googling flute teacher. Usually it
School
will,
of Music India.
or School of Music, but usually I think when you search, it gives you results that are close to you. Because when I search here, I get stuff. If I look for a restaurant, I get restaurants around here. I don't get restaurants in London. So, I guess doing that.
Yeah, and maybe even asking the teacher or asking the students of the teachers might want to be teachers, you know? It might be cheaper, you know?
Maybe in universities, sometimes they have advanced students that would take you as a student or that start teaching. Any other question?
Yep. What is your absolute favorite piece?
I don't have an absolute favorite piece. I usually, my favorite piece is the piece I'm playing at the moment. Like I'm really I usually feel a bit like a character, and I'm in the character, and yeah, that's how I feel about it. Um, I like Prokofiev. It's a nice sonata. I like I like Doppler a lot. I think it's so well written for the flute, and it's so fun to play. Um, there's a lot of beautiful stuff. Syrinx is beautiful. Like I forgot how much I liked playing this piece. Poem. It's beautiful. Like I don't know. There's a lot of beautiful pieces.
Are there colleges for music? Yeah. Are there colleges for music?
Yeah, there are colleges for music.
All over the world.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's almost too many, I would say, for the amount of jobs for musicians. But that's another story. But it's also good. Like you want to learn, and you should be allowed to learn. So whatever. But there's many ways to learn music.
Yeah. And how long did it take you for your fingers to start moving so quickly and swiftly? Was there a point in
It
time
didn't take me that long, but I think it's because I was in a music program where I played every day for an hour just in school, just starting there, and then I would practice, and I didn't have many other things to do than to practice because I didn't have to, I was a kid. Kids have a lot of free time. So I guess maybe after 3 years I was playing pretty fast. Even 2 years, I remember playing pretty fast things. But I had to, back then, if I wanted to play something fast, let's say I would have a piece for a competition at the end of the year, I would start very early and practice it almost like 6 months ahead. And I would practice it a lot and start super slowly and, build it up. Now, it's faster because I know my scales, my arpeggios, my scales and thirds. So when I see it in the music, it's... And also, I've learned a lot of music, so it's faster. But back then, I could play fast, but I had to practice way longer to get to the same result.
Cool. I think that's it.
That's it?
You want to say back to the studio again?
Yeah, so if you're interested in taking lessons with me, you can email us at info@theflutechannel.com, and we'll get you all the details about that. Also, we are going to do a little convention type of flute festival day, whatever, in the summer online. And if you're interested in that, where do people write to us for that?
Flutecon.com.
Flutecon.com. And you go there, flutecon.com, and you'll see you can write your name, and then we give you the information when we're ready.
Yeah.
And
FLUTCON.
FLUTE?
No. Yeah, flute, then com.
Flute, then com. C-O-M.
Con, yeah.
Con.
Con.
C-O-N.
Yeah.
.com. C-O-M. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
yeah. So that's it. And if you are looking for a flute, you should check the Flute Center of New York and use our code TFC. This code gives you some perks like longer warranty, and you can try more flutes, and shipping is free. And it also helps us out. So thanks for everyone who uses our code. And what else?
The store.
We have a store with shirts and posters and a hat, I think.
Yeah, there's a new hat right now. People bought some already.
There's cool stuff.
Yeah, so
really cool stuff. So you can go and check it out.
It's store.theflutechannel.
Store.theflutechannel.com. And is that it?
Patreon, man.
Oh, we have a Patreon, and you can go and check it out. We have a podcast every month. And if you're a member of Patreon, you can ask questions for the podcast, and you can hear the podcast live, and we can interact during the podcast. You can be a Patreon member for as little as $2 a month. And you can also, there's different tiers with different perks, so go and check it out, our Patreon. And you could be a patron.
Yeah,
one more question?
Yeah, it's a good one. Do you have any, thanks for doing that though. Do you have any tips for someone who has just started playing after a long break, 1 to 2 years? Also, what is your favorite medium level piece?
Okay. A tip for starting again. Okay. I would say maybe go back to, if you have a study book, studies are good. to play to start playing again. Maybe do a little bit of sound exercises, studies. Like go back slowly. Maybe take pieces from a bit before you stopped. Be patient with yourself, but just don't overjudge if the sound is not the way it was. Just let it go, because it's gonna let things happen, because it's gonna come back, and stressing about it is not gonna help. Just stay calm and just trust that your body's gonna find its marks again, and the muscles are gonna come back, you know, and all that. If you have a little pain, sometimes when we don't play for a while, we have pain. And when you do, just stop and come back to it. Maybe don't over practice long hours in the beginning until you get used to it again. I think that, you know, maybe getting a teacher if you want some organization in your practice. And a middle level piece. There's a lot of nice ones, actually.
Okay. Yeah, maybe Telemann Fantasia or something.
All the Telemann fantasies are beautiful. Yes, and they're interesting because you have a 2-page fantasy, and you get like 4 movements with different tempos and different emotions conveyed in them. So it's fun to play. Yeah, that's a good start. Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
So maybe say lessons again.
Again? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in having lessons on Skype, just email us at info@theflutechannel.com. And don't forget our code TFC with the Flute Center of New York. If you want to go check them online, it's flutesforsale.com, flutes4sale.com. And yeah, that's it for this week. I hope this was helpful. And if you liked it, please like it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, and see you next time. Thanks for watching.